Thank you. Good evening to all of you. Right. In yesterday's class, already we understood about what is the meaning of trade unions and what are the various aspects relating to trade unions and how they are supporting to the benefit of the student, benefit of the workers, and what is the process of collective bargaining, how the collective bargaining helps to negotiate between the management as well as to the workers, and how to get the benefit out of the collective bargaining by both the parties, that is win-win situation, and so on. So when we are talking about the trade unionism, as we understood yesterday class, they are mainly the intermediaries between the management and the workers. The various trade unions will support the workers to bring out their good working conditions, welfare of the employees, and so on and so forth. In the process of trade unionism, it has given rise to the various issues and supported the labor unions. But whereas instead of that, there are so many other functions of the trade unions also. They always provide the working conditions, good working conditions to the workers. They will provide the support to the management also as and when required on the good policies. And they have an important role to educate the employees in the organization about the working culture and so on. Like that, we understood on that. In this present class, we are going to talk on the collective bargaining process. Already I explained. And in the brief introduction of that, we will enter into today's class. And let me share the screen so that you will be able to understand what is this concept and how it will be. In the present class, we are going to talk about the next further topics, that is employee grievances, wage and salary administration, and what will be the importance of wage and salary administration, and how it is done. All these aspects we will talk now. So this is now I am sharing the PPT to you so that you will be able to have a look over that one. Employee grievance. And what is the procedure for handling with the employee grievances? And that aspect also we will deal with that. And now let us talk on this collective bargaining process, and then we will enter into the various aspects. Getting ready for negotiations. Basically, this is a very, very important question. Almost all the topics are covered in this. When is getting ready for the negotiations, employees, trade unions must be ready for the negotiating process. And in that process, they need to go for understanding what we are going to negotiate, what are the topics that are to be discussed in the meetings, and where the points are to be stressed, and where the relaxation can be given to the management, and so on and so forth. In this process, they must mentally ready, and they must be able to convince the other employees about what they are going to speak in the negotiation meetings, and so on. Then, who is going to represent the negotiation process? That is another important condition. That is, who is the spokesperson for the employees, and he must have certain reservations and applicable acceptability by all the labor unions and also along with the other employees. Second one, determining the bargaining issues. That is, on what topics we need to bargain with the organizational management, and what is the main issues where the employees are very much stressed upon, and then start with the negotiation. When you are clear about what is the role of the spokesperson and what issues we need to bargain, and what is the various points that are to be discussed in the meeting, and where the organizations can, frankly speaking, they can have a strong determination, or at the same time on what points they can also give a free hand. These items have to be negotiated in the negotiation process with the management aspect. And then in the process of exact negotiation aspect, it should be carried out in such a way that it gives harmonious relations between the employees and also the management. Negotiation is only not a one-time activity. It takes a series of meetings. When once negotiations are carried out, then they may come to a conclusion in the first attempt, or they may go for the series of this one meetings. That is also may be necessary. Then next, coming to that, approaching to the agreement. That means both of them must come to an agreement between on the various issues. Then formalize the agreement into a contract nature. Actually, it is a contract. Sorry for the mistake. And they must give a written format of the particular negotiation process. Then implement the agreement. Unless the negotiation meeting, there is no possibility of bringing the real-time effect into the process. So now try to make steps for the implementation on both the sides. Both the sides in the sense, workers as well as the management. Workers also should obey whatever they accepted in the negotiation process, and then they should obey the conditions laid down by the management in this particular time. Then coming to the last one, we are going to talk on this particular unit now. All the students, I request go for the unit number 19. This is nothing but employee discipline and grievance procedure. Let us talk on this in this present class. It is page number 329. Actually, this topic is also important because even though it's a last lesson, in this particular block, there are only 4 lessons are there. Trade unionism is very, very important, and discipline and employee discipline, employee grievance procedure. Then we will go back to the other lessons like recruitment aspect, and then performance appraisal, career planning, wage and salary administration, etc. in the forthcoming classes. So as I told you in the previous class also, first I am going by the various topics which are convenient for the students, and then they can understand better, then they can remember better. So this unit number 19, even though it's last lesson, it is in your book, but it requires a lot of attention from the students, because meaning and definition of employee, objectives of discipline of employee. Why discipline is required? What is the importance of discipline in the organization structure? And the principles of employee discipline, forms and types of discipline, causes of employee discipline, and the procedure for initiating or taking a disciplinary action, essentials of good discretionary system, employee grievance. These are the essentials of a good disciplinary system. Up to that particular point, it is half of the unit. And then employee grievance, causes and consequences of grievances, methods in identifying the grievance. This is the third part of this particular unit. Process of handling grievances, prerequisites for a sound grievance procedure. What is the code of discipline? These are also to be discussed along with the earlier topics. Actually, now understand about what exactly the objectives of the employee discipline. Now let us go back to the page number 326 and we'll see along with that in the material, whatever the content that is given in the material book, that is important for you. So then coming to the getting voluntary acceptance from the members to the rules and regulations of the organization. So what is exactly the discipline means? Discipline means it is not controlling. Actually, we use the word discipline and all from the school days. But exactly the meaning of discipline is not to put anyone in the under the control or under the pressure or under the process of making them to obey the rules. But the real employee discipline procedure is the process of force that prompts an individual or a group to observe the rules and regulations. So, what is the meaning of employee discipline? Let us understand. Then we proceed for the objectives of the discipline. So, in this discipline is the force that prompts an individual or a group to observe the rules, regulations, procedures that are deemed necessary to be attainment of the objective. So, in this process, discipline is made as a force which makes individual to accept the rules and regulations of the organization. Unless they follow the procedure, they can't attain the goals and this one. In simple words, discipline refers to the conditions or attitudes prevailing among the employees with respect to the rules and regulations of the organization. Say, for example, in the examination hall, a student is not supposed to talk with others, he should not carry any sort of forbidden material, and so on. That is the practice, that is the rule they have to follow. That is called as a disciplinary procedure. To write an exam, this rule should be followed. That is called discipline. If he deviates discipline, definitely he will be punished accordingly. Then the discipline is a broader sense, taking that orderliness, the opposite of confusion. Instead of what the people are doing, it is not a confusion. Then how the people should be, that is called orderliness. It is not having strictness. It is not having technical observations. It is only the follow, make the employees to follow the rigid rules and regulations. So discipline is a product culture, is a product of, discipline is a product of, that is a multiplicative factor of culture, value system, environment, and a basic past of the measurement of the employee's attitude and behavior. So when a person is said to be disciplined, okay, we also say something, he is a very disciplined man, he is a very disciplined woman, like that. When he follows all cultural rules, all cultural ethical values, or organizational discipline factors, then we call them as a perfect person who is maintaining discipline. These are the important aspects we have to understand. So to sum up, discipline is basically a managing force which makes the employees to accept for the rules and regulations of the organization where they are working. Then main objective of the employee discipline is getting voluntary acceptance from the members to rules and regulations of the organization. Here the word voluntary, this is very, very important word actually. Even though discipline is a force, disciplinary action will be taken only if the acceptance is not there voluntarily. If a person is coming and doing their work properly and discharging his duties, there is no question of any disciplinary action on that. So, voluntarily, the people should accept their rules and regulations of the organization. They should come forward to render their services to the best of their ability as far as the rules and regulations of the concern. Second one, development of feeling of adjustment to the system. So develop the feeling of adjustment so that the workers work according to the situations. So whenever the system is working, our organizational system is working, this discipline procedure always develop the feeling of adjustment of the worker. So workers should adjust according to the situation aspect of that. That is another one. Third one is provide direction, right leadership, and getting cooperation. So a discipline procedure provides a direction. That means at what time the employees need to come, at what time they need to take up the activities, and what are the rules, what are the disciplinary act, what are the various aspects that they have to perform, and at the same time, what they should get a right leadership, they should get a cooperation. These aspects will be considered in case of the employee discipline procedure. Just let me take a snapshot. So, yes, that is epsilon. Length, right. Thank you. Coming to the next important aspect on this. So, what are the principles of employee discipline? This is paragraph number 19.3. That is, code of conduct is the first discipline of the employees aspect. So, there must be a code of conduct. That means how to perform the activities and what is the consent of both the parties with the establishment of a discipline code and rules and regulations should be made out. So, with the consent of both the parties, that is both employees as well as the employers, they both sit together and to make out the rules and regulations. So, what is the promotion policy? What will be the working hours? What will be the work culture they have to? And what is the organizational culture they have to follow? What is any dress code if it is there? Like that, different aspects will be considered on this. Then rule book is to be ready. That means code of conduct is to be established. These rules should be in such that everyone must be able to understand and follow them. So if the code of conduct should be understood and it must be written in such a way that it clearly gives us an idea that we can follow that code of conduct. So if it is understood, especially by all the people, then they will try to definitely follow. Then there will not be any problem in the case of the discipline of the employees. So it must be understandable clearly to the employees. That is what they are expected to do in the during their working hours and so on and so forth. This is another important element on that. Next, coming to the screen sharing is stopped. Just 1 minute. Let me share the screen again. Then, hmm. So the code of conduct is completed. Then equity in treatment, equality in treatment. All the workers should be equally treated on the basis of their code of conduct, without any penalty or partiality to disobedience to the provisions of the code should be punished. All the employees must be treated equal, and if whether he is a person of any nature, he must be treated equally while treatment punishment with respect to the discipline is going to be initiated. Then responsible, he must be a responsible person. On the basis of the code, responsibility of the disciplinary action should be in the hands of the responsible person who can give orders to the subordinates. So who is responsible for initiating the disciplinary procedures? So he must be a responsible person to the organization. Everybody cannot initiate the disciplinary action. So normally in a college, the principal is the disciplinary authority. In a office, a general manager. Like that, highest positions authority people will have the authority to initiate the disciplinary procedures. So a responsible person in the organization must be given this power to initiate the disciplinary procedures. Then comprehensive knowledge of administration. Workers should have full knowledge of the rules and administration, and it should be clear on the violation which punishment is applicable. So the workers also should know about what type of behavior is expected by them, what type of rules and regulations they have to follow, and all the aspects they should know. Along with that, they should also know about what are the if any individual violates these rules and regulations, then what will be the disciplinary action for that? That also should be known to the employees. Otherwise, they will say that, sir, I don't know about this particular action. That is the reason why I behave like that. They will have a lame excuse on that. Then coming to the appeal, responsibility of discipline should be with supervisor or a foreman. His duty is to prevent the indiscipline, basically. So he is not going to support the employees at all times. So this person should, accused should have the appealing measures before the higher officials. If if this person gives a treatment, say for example, if a disciplinary officer gives a memo, then the employee must be able to appeal for the next level of authority on the by mentioning the facts and figures, and what is the reason for the indisciplinary action, and so on and so forth. Then coming to the natural justice. When we are talking about natural justice, discipline should be based on the natural justice. So that is very, very important. The cause of indiscipline be examined impartially, and then it should be accused person should be given a chance of hearing them only on the decision, then only the decision should be taken. So what is natural justice? In the natural justice also, in the law also, the word natural justice we always use. So first of all, the other party who is going to get a punishment, he must have an opportunity to be heard. Why he did that one? What is the reason for doing that particular indiscipline action? All these aspects must be, he must have a chance to explain on the reasons for behaving like that or behaving in an indisciplined manner, and so on and so forth. Then after appeal, all the indiscipline activities, what is the duties, what is the punishments for them, and the person accused is appealing measures, all that. So it should be examined impartially. That means for one person, one rule, second person, other rule, like that it should not. Then prompt action should be taken. Disciplinary action should be taken very soon when the indiscipline happened. Then immediately the order should come. Then only it is effective. If the decisions are delayed, there is no effect of control or accusation of the punishment. If it is delayed, if an indisciplinary action happened in the organization on first day, then if the indisciplinary action is initiated on the after 15 days or 20 days, the things will go on like that, and people will feel, organizational workers will feel in a very much a deviated manner. They don't have confidence on the organizational system. Then, an instrument of organization, official disciplinary action is to be calculated as an instrument of progress of the organization. Officially, when you are inculcating the disciplinary procedures, it must be a supporting nature for the organization. Then the following are the various other aspects in that. confidential proceedings must be followed. So when you are taking an indisciplined action, then when you are taking an action against the indisciplined behavior, that whatever all that should be proceedings must be done in a highly confidential manner. Should not be that means what to say, the presence of other persons or accused should not be said anything else. The one worker did a mistake, he should not be scolded before the others. So he must be called to the cabin, and one-to-one discussion only should happen in that. That is very, very important. If a person is directly, if the accused is directly scolded or directly given a punishment, then it gives a wrong concept of others about him, and he loses the faith in the organization in respect of higher officials. That is also another important thing. The following are two approaches are there for the approaches. Main approaches is judicial approach, human relations approach, human resources approach, group discipline approach, and leadership approach. They are the approaches how to deal with the employee discipline procedures. In the very first one, judicial approach, it is commonly followed in India. Various kind of misconduct are listed in the standing order, and penalties are also mentioned. The decision of the Supreme Court on various cases are also served as a guideline. So, for what type of indiscipline, what type of action? That is always in the written format, and what all the Supreme Court decisions also will be given as a supporting nature for that. And human relations approach is also treating the employees as human being and consider the totality of his personality, behavior while correcting the facts and facts that contribute to the indiscipline. Human relations approach is very natural and it is a very empathical approach. So why an employee behave like that? When a particular employee who is a good employee in the organization, or good faith is there, or first time or second time he committed that particular mistake, then you take the total overall behavior of that, what is his previous punctuality and the totality of his personality in the organization, all the aspects should be understood while giving that particular indisciplinary action. Then human resources approach. This approach calls for treating every employee as a resource and an asset to the organization. Before giving punishment to the worker, the cause for the indiscipline is to be ascertained. So, okay, something wrongly happened. Why that wrong thing happened? An analysis of the cause is made to find out whether the indiscipline is due to failure of the training or motivational system, whether is it anything done because of the lack of knowledge, that is lack of training given to him, or because of motivation to him to work in such a good systematic manner, or the individual having own failure to meet the requirements, or because of what is the personal reasons for him to do like that. All these things are to be explained. The group discipline approach is that management in this group sets the conveys well-established norms and tries to involve the group of the employees. So, sorry, total group of the employees are put together, they will be given a punishmental approach. And lastly, a leadership approach. Every supervisor or manager has a guide, control, train, develop, lead the group and administer the rules and discipline. So there will be a rule book and he has to guide. He has to allow the people to develop themselves and train them. Like that, if you allow the employees, there is no question of any indiscipline, and then finally, every total organization will have a disciplined approach. Now coming to the other important aspect, what are the various forms and types of discipline action? This is very known to us, but how to narrate that one, that is very difficult task. First one is a positive discipline or self-imposed discipline. This is a very positive manner. And second one is the negative discipline. First one, when you are going to influence the discipline procedure, so that is to say that it refers to the application of rewards. Application of rewards. Application of rewards, incentives from employees to the willingness cooperate in smooth functioning of the enterprise. So if an employee involves any in creation of a good atmosphere, then organization of the management of the employee widely conform to set the rules and regulations of that. So this is very important. Positive discipline does not restrict the individuals but enables him to have greater freedom in that he enjoys a greater freedom of self-expression of the learning spirit, automatic respect, and so on. That means he himself will become a role model. Employee, he himself positively motivated to be the correct man in the organization. So he wants to be recognized in a correct procedure, correct employee, and so on and so forth. Second one, when the employee is basically a good employee who is dealing with all the activities, duties, works, and all in a procedure correctly, he must be rewarded totally. If he has not applied for any absenteeism, he has not given any absenteeism during the days, or he has provided a good work to the organization, then definitely he must be rewarded. And next, second is the negative discipline. In the case of negative discipline, autocratic and corrective disciplinary procedures are established or enforced discipline. Employees are forced to order, follow the rules and regulations, and perform the assigned tasks according to the procedure later. So, in the case of negative discipline, the employees are forced to be on the correct line. If you don't do the work properly, I will give a punishment. If you don't do the work in a systematic way, I don't give any sort of enhancement of the your remuneration. Like that, a punishment approach is always will be there always. It is two types. Out of that positive sense means always he only will come forward with the disciplined manner. In the case of negative discipline, the employees are forced to follow the disciplinary actions, the discipline in the organization on the basis of the force attitude. Then coming to the next one, most important one, the causes of indiscipline. What are the various causes of employees indiscipline? Then that is the very important. What are the various causes? Why actually the employees are indisciplined? What is the reason for the indisciplined nature? And why the people, why the employees don't follow the procedures? That is also another important task which is to be studied under both the lines. See, a motivated employee always perform the work better. This is given an example also here in that. This is paragraph number 19.5. This is even in the para number 19.5. In the paragraph number 19.5, he causes for the employee indiscipline. What are the causes? What are the two types of causes? That is internal causes and external causes. First one, internal causes. Why the employees go for the indisciplined nature? That is the very first one. And lack of effective and efficient leadership and the direction. If the workers are not guided properly, or if the workers are not led properly, if the leader is he himself is very much indisciplined, then automatically workers will not follow that disciplinary process. If the leader he himself is doing a mistake, then automatically workers, there is no doubt, they will do as they like. It is very simple. If the leader he himself come late to the organization, then automatically all the workers will come at their own time. If they question, they also will question, sir, as a leader, you are also coming late. Why are you asking us to be on time? That's all. That is called a lack of effective leadership. Is the main important cause towards the employee indiscipline. Lack of personal development and opportunities. So if the industry does not provide chances for the personal growth or development, automatically employees develop a kind of dissatisfaction or a frustration. This may sometimes create indiscipline among the frustrated employees. So if the employees are not having any sort of opportunity towards their personal growth in the sense getting higher amount of wages or higher salaries, promotions, developmental aspects, if they are not there, automatically the employees will feel that how long we can do the same job, routine job for a very, very long period of time. They will get a frustration. If there is no development in the job, there is no promotions, there is no enhancement of the salary, they will get disappointed and dissatisfied. Finally, the frustration leads to the indisciplined man. That is also, this we also normally go with that. And defective supervision. If the supervising system is completely defective, or how the people are behaving in organization, if it is not properly observed, that is supervision inefficiency among the employees, maybe create minds of the employees when their immediate supervisor does not show sympathetic and humanistic behavior towards them. So, so what is the supervision? How he has to do? All the employees must be treated in a positive spirit. So the employees, a disciplinary officer should have a equal justice for all. He must look all the people in the same way. Then he must treat all the employees on similar lines. When the immediate supervisor does not show any sympathetic value or sympathy to the workers, automatically the workers will become go for the indiscipline procedures. That is one. Next one, biased attitude. If the employers or the management is giving facilities to a limited group of people or initiating disciplinary action to only few set of people, or they are not treating like this amounts to dissatisfaction and non-cooperation among the employees. If a certain group of people are allowed to enjoy the freedom, and if others are not allowed to enjoy the freedom, the person, the group who are the group of the people who are not allowed to enjoy the benefit, they will become revolt, and definitely they will go for indisciplinary procedures. And lack of code of conduct is also another reason for that. Already just now we understood about what is code of conduct. Code of conduct basically tells us about the rules and regulations that an employee has to follow in the organization. And as a result of that, everyone must know and everyone must understand about what is the initiation of indiscipline and what are the punishments that can be initiated against them because of indisciplinary action and so on and so on. That is the lack of code of conduct. And the third one, next one is divide and rule policy. If the divide and rule policy of the management also create the room for the dissatisfaction among the employees, they gradually lead to the kind of indiscipline among the different strata of the employees. So this is paragraph number 19.5. It is very clearly explained in this particular topics. And divide and rule. If the management is trying to divide the employees into 2 or 3 groups and they are not able to see the equality among all the employees, then they will be that attitude will create a problem among the employees, and definitely it leads to the indiscipline in the organization. Then, lastly, to say personal factors. Sometimes personally, they also have the various difficulties. Indiscipline also comes because of the personal factors such as selecting a wrong employee like capability, control, cooperation, etc. This continuous distinct on worker tries to spoil the discipline among the workers. If a wrong employee is selected, or a person is wrongly selected, or biasedly selected, then in such a case, he don't follow the attitude of the good organization. He will not be able to have good skills to perform. Then automatically others also will feel that when he is not following the discipline, why I have to? That's all. So these are the various important points what we can understand. Then coming to that, while not only selecting the employee, if any employee is is not following the discipline procedure, then that employee also should be under that employee also should be supervised in such a way that why he is not following. Is it because of the personal factor? Means what is the capabilities he is not having, or is he not able to perform the job given to him, or is he not having the skills to perform the job? What is the reason for his indiscipline must be analyzed. Then cause and effect relationship is to be analyzed on this. And victimization and excessive pressures are to be on the management side. Management forms opposite concepts about the some person and try to perplex the and crush them so that the employees tries to retaliation, and this sometimes it increases in this. If the management wants to develop or the management developed a particular way or developed a particular sense of negative feeling about a certain person or a certain group of persons, then and management always crush them into the various reasons, and automatically there will be a revolt to the organization and they and procedures. That is also another reason. These are the various causes of indiscipline, and certain external causes are also there. External causes of indiscipline relate to the factors outside the industry. Various non-economic, social, political factors influence the discipline in the industry as a whole. If the whole country is experiencing a violence or disturbance, the discipline among the employees in the industry also will be affected. If the country is not smooth or if the country is not peaceful, then automatically that effect will be there in the organization. These are the various aspects that is to be understood in this. Then coming to the employees, kinds of punishments is the another important aspect, that is 19.6 to understand. For various misconduct, there are different types of punishments also will be there. According to Tripathi, the following are the punishments of the various misconducts: minor punishments and major punishments. Actually, in the case of minor punishments, there are two or three important aspects that can be considered. This is given in paragraph number 19.6. Then, first one is oral punishment or oral reprimand. The punishment is normally given for some minor mistakes and offenses such as failure to obey safety rules, smoking in the prohibited area, sleeping on the job, or giving substandard performance, etc. These are sometimes normally happens for the individual employees also because of their family life and differences in the family problems and all. Employee may not be able to maintain same set of standards. So this is very common in all the type of work cultures. So then all the minor mistakes may happen. So orally the boss can say, why you are doing like this, develop yourself, don't do like that. Like that, oral comments can be given by them. Next, written reprimand. That means punishment refers to an action which states that certain privileges should be withheld or withdrawn if the subordinate continues with that. In some enterprises, the record of employees may be marked and then employees shown a copy of a notation to serve as a warning. So in such a cases, if the employee is not working properly, so a record will be maintained on that. And each record entry will be shown to the employee. If you are further doing like this will be the punishment. If you are doing continuing like this will be the effect like that. And loss of privileges also. If the employee leave the organization without the permission, the employee may put to loss or various privileges such as good job assignments, right to select the machine or equipment or freedom to movement about the workplace and so on. If the employees goes for a indiscipline action in that, if the employee is not following the rules of the organization, then certain sort of privileges what they can gain or what certain sort of privileges what they can enjoy, they can be withdrawn. Suppose they can leave it say 1 hour early, then that privilege may be cut. Like that, certain type of privileges can be withdrawn if the employee is indisciplined. Then fines can be imposed on the employees. The fines in such a way that fine means deduction from the remuneration of the employees by way of punishment. So it is said to be, if an employee commits some sort of major mistakes or minor in the case of that very effective, then you can deduct some amount from that. That is also fines. And punitive suspension also may be another important aspect. This type of punishment is inflicted on the workman as a punishment for some misconduct, whereas suspension pending an inquiry. Suspension pending an inquiry is only an execution of the action which manager may find necessary to following the commission of a grave and serious misconduct. Sometimes inquiry commission may be established on the employee. These are the various important elements. Then coming to the major punishments are the major punishments. If the employee commits serious offenses, if the employee commits any serious offenses, then major punishments also can be given to them, like withholding of the increments. That means don't give increment to that particular person. And demotion from the higher level position to the lower level position, or discharge of the duties. So he will be discharged from the duty. Lastly, dismissal also may be another important permission if the serious offense he has done in that. These are the various important things in that. So what are the essentials of the then what is employee grievance is another important measure. So when we are talking about employee grievance and causes of grievance in the causes and consequences of the grievance, then we can understand this one. So when employee grievance is that, what is actually the meaning of employee grievance? According to National Commission of Labor, observed that complaints affecting one or more individual workers in respect of their wage payments, overtime, leave transfer, promotion, seniority, work assignments, and discharges constitute the world of grievance. If any employee is not given proper wage salary, or he is not given any increments, why it is not given? And if he is asked to stay overtime, then what is that one? That is also. And leave, sometimes leave may not be granted. That is one. Then leave may not be granted. That is also one type of grievance. And as a result of that, transfers may not be affected. Then promotions, seniority, work assignments, and all this will come under the grievance of the employees. Then coming to the nature of that, the working together in the organization, the employee may feel or believe that he or she being neglected or undetermined by the supervisor, then colleagues of his internal nature and conditions of employment have to be deliberately violated. So employees sometimes one or two or the other employee may be completely ignored, or if he is ignored for any reason, then in such a case, so what is the problem? Why the management is doing like this? And these are the aspects have to be clearly understood. So these are all come under employee grievances only. And what are the main causes of employee grievance is the important one. So first one is economic grievances. In the matters of wage fixation, wage competition, overtime, bonus, etc., if the employees feel that they are getting less than that what they ought to get, it may result in some kind of dissatisfaction and it may be said as grievance. What an employee should get, that must be paid to them, whatever the financial position of the firm, that is a different nature. So that is called as economic grievances. If he is not paid as per the other employees or as per the rules and regulations, then wage compensation, bonus if he is not given, then that all will come under economic grievances. And second one is work environment. That is poor working conditions, working in unhealthy environment. All this will be considered as a poor working conditions. So defective equipment and machinery. If the equipment and machinery is not properly given to the employee, he cannot perform the work at good. So finally, the result will be on the employee only stating that you are not working better. Then in such a case, employee cannot perform better. These are the various important elements. Then supervision, the disposition of the boss towards the employee, and perceived notations, favoritism, nepotism, bias are also some of the times form the root cause of the employee grievance. So if the boss is away from the employee for a longer period of time, that is also causes grievance for the employee. He don't get a direction. He don't understand what to do. Sometimes he may have a doubt about the process to be done or something. He can't approach the superior. Then in such a case, it becomes a grievance to the employee. Then working group, strained relations or incompatibility with the peers, following of neglect and concert, that is ostracism and victimization of the employee give rise to some kind of grievance. Then certain employee, he is not equally treated with the other employees. Then by the peers and feeling of neglected, that is all will come under this particular category. And poor communication is the very, very important damage, will create a lot of damage to the poor communication system between the management and its employees. That is another cause of employee grievance in the organization. That is, whenever, that is already I told you at the time, when the employee wants to communicate his grievance, the boss must be ready for to accept that one. So he should not question why, what, when, why. So if he is not given an opportunity to be heard, then definitely it leads to various dissatisfaction, and finally he will be demotivated to work with the organization. And union practices. In the firms where there are multiple unions, many of whom may have political affiliations, there is a constant jostling and lobbying for the numerical strength and support. Such parties may sometimes give raise to high expectations among the employee and unions concerned. Failure to achieve some of those expectations may develop a kind of dissatisfaction for the causes of employee. When when the organization unions are led by the political party leaders, then political party leaders, always they will go for the element of creating more number of people, more number of members in the organization. As a result of that, they for that particular purpose to make the various workers, number of other workers also as a members of the group, they will give them unnecessary and unwanted, which are not possible. So promises, and finally, when the promises are not discharged, then definitely organization workers will feel bad, and that creates causes of the grievance. Individual personality traits also. As individual personality traits and personally and it states that mind finds a kind of collect of invoicing a spare of the grievances. For example, may unnecessary by find faults for every little matter and develop a kind of discomfort for the whole offenses others network and means that issues and get on with the job. So issues and get on with the job. So certain types of aspects like this also will create this. So every person, sometimes some individuals will be there. Always they will be finding fault with the employer's behavior or rules and regulations. That type of behavior is not correct. So then work organizations itself, sometimes rigid and unfair rules, too much and too less work responsibility, lack of recognition, etc., may also the cause of sense of grievance on that or discontentment and also may lead to that. So according to S. Chandra, study the grievance procedure and all that. Actually, 18 aspects are considered as an important one, and all that 18 aspects are listed here in that. That is, amenities must be provided, compensation, conditions of work, continuity of service. And why this indiscipline procedure and all. Then finally, we came into this particular aspect of the conclusion of the class. Before that, there is a powers problem in that. And then, so we started this class with the various forms and types of employee discipline and what is discipline. So what is the objectives of discipline and why discipline is very important and so on. What are the various types of discipline and how that is these types of discipline is basically important. Then forms of discipline, that is positive and self-imposed discipline, and the causes of employee discipline. Why? What are the various reasons for the employee discipline and so on? Employee grievance. Thank you a lot. Because of the powers are shut down, it is not possible to attend the talk right now. Thank you for sparing time, patience, listening, all that. Thank you, sir. Bye.